was the first European car maker to launch a people carrier, and now pretty well everyone else has followed suit. To try and stay ahead of the pack, they'll be launching this updated version of the Espace next month. But before we take a look at how it performs, there's a few things about these vans with electric windows that I want to get off my chest. They tell us that they make ideal cars for the school run, and I'm sure they do. But school run cars tend to be second cars, yet the cheapest decent-sized people carrier is the hopeless Nissan Serena, and it costs £15,000. £15,000 for a second car. They tell us that they're versatile, that the interior can be tailored to suit your every whim. It can be a bed, for instance. But I've got a perfectly good bed at home. Mind you, it doesn't have a handbrake sticking out of its mattress. It can also be an office. Hello? Hello? But I have an office at work where I don't have to rely on a phone system that doesn't work. They say you can do anything in a people carrier, even play tennis if you want. Great! But why? Of course, they say that all this versatility makes the people carrier practical, but again, I'm not so sure. You're tooling through town when, outside a shop, you see that chest of drawers you always wanted. Aha! Eek. Oh dear. But still, defenders of the people carrier faith say this isn't a problem. You simply lift the rear seats out. Brilliant. Yep. Fits like a glove. Great. But have you spotted the problem yet? There is an upside to all this, though. You see, if you drive a low red sports car, people think you have a small, you know. But if you drive one of these, passers-by are left in no doubt. Mine works just fine, mate. Look at the space I need for all the children I've produced. And that's where the people carrier scores its biggest hit. If you're one of the 1.3 million households in Britain which has 4 or more children, the MPV is a complete and utter godsend. So, is the new Espace any good, or what? Well, I guess that because you're buying a people carrier for purely practical reasons, you should have the most practical engine. A diesel. As they go, this isn't too horrific. With 3 valves per cylinder and a turbo, there is enough power to make it up hills. As with all diesels, though, it's a bit noisy. Sounds like Carl Palmer's doing a drum solo under the bonnet. Carl Palmer from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And there's quite a lot of smoke comes out of the back when you accelerate. Smoke! Then there's the all-important question of size. The Renault is physically smaller than, say, the Ford Galaxy, and it feels more nimble as a result. Now, obviously, smaller on the outside means smaller on the inside. But Renault has been in the people carrier game now for 13 years, and in that time, it's learned a few tricks. You can take all 5 of the back seats out to create a van, or you can fold them down to make tables. And in the more expensive versions of the new model, they all slide backwards and forwards as well. It's clever stuff. Clever, but sitting right back here, I find it hard to relax in this, or indeed any other people carrier. You see, if you get punted up the backside in an ordinary estate car, there's a lot of metal behind you to absorb the energy of the impact. It's called a crumple zone. But in this, I'm right up against the tailgate. My head is that far from the glass. I would be extremely nervous about letting my children sit back here. Up on the bridge, things are much better. There are some truly neat touches up here. Twin storage bins under each of the front seats, which together can hold more than the boot of a Mini. There's a massive twin centre glove box. The stereo's all integrated, so to operate it, you use this neat remote controller. Then there's the heater, which manages to keep the temperature fairly constant throughout the cabin. In most people carriers, the guys in the front are sweating like a pig down to their underpants, while in the back, people are dying of hypothermia in their duffel coats. The best thing, though, is that it all looks so good. You really do feel like you're driving something straight from the set of Space 1999. That's enough nasty music. If you're in the market for a people carrier, it's because you have 4 kids. You want something tough, practical and cheap. Now, the Renault is clever enough to get an MA from Cambridge and has enough style to overshadow Kate Moss on a Milanese catwalk. But they're made of plastic, you're saying. Surely they'll fall to pieces. Well, apparently not. You see, our BBC film crews have used Espaces for years. They hurl 2-ton boxes in and out of the back, they drive them into the ground, and they say mechanically they're very good. The worst thing that happens is that bits of trim fall off. But a much worse thing has happened to the new version. The cheapest model in the range, which has no sliding seats, no lifting rear window, costs very nearly £20,000, a price that appears to be even more preposterous when you take a look at the new Chrysler Voyager. Built in Austria, it's 8 inches longer than the Espace, so it's not as manoeuvrable. It's not as stylish either, and there's no diesel option. But who cares? There's added space and practicality thanks to a fairly usable boot. There are 2 sliding rear doors, bigger, better designed innards, and it's noticeably cheaper. Quite frankly, I'd rather have a vasectomy than a people carrier. But if it's already too late, if you've already got 4 or 5 children, your best bet is the Voyager.